Hey, how's it going? I'm here with brand new plants that I'm going to kind of treat before I put in with the rest of my plants. This is a Philodendron Birkin. You can see that this new leaf actually looks like a Birkin, and the rest of the leaves don't really look like much. So I got these off of the clearance rack. I got this one and I got this dragon scale Alocasia. And it is, you can see it's all messed up, but it's still, you know, it's doable. It's salvageable. And this is like a direct challenge. When I see something like this and I know it's salvageable, that's a direct challenge to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to repot these. Actually, I'm going to wipe all the leaves off while this is still solid and in a pot and it's maneuverable and I'm able to like turn it around and stuff, and it's really easy. And then I'm going to knock all the dirt off of this and repot it, and then I'm going to do the same thing to this, although I'm not going to have to do any of the leaf wiping. But I'll do a little bit of maintenance. You'll see. Oh look, see, there's a little bit right there. Huh. Yeah, see, that's nice and green in there. So we'll see what happens with that. But right now I got to wipe all these leaves off. I have this microfiber cloth and I just spray distilled water on it. I don't use anything else. I don't like to use anything else because I don't know how it will affect the plant itself. So let's get started on this. So what I do is I just I use my hand underneath the leaf as support. I just very gently kind of brush across it with a damp cloth. These have so much caked up gunk and stuff on them that I might have to go over them a couple times to get them to look any better. There's so much stuff on here. But yeah, this video is just me taking care of brand new plants, so you can see my routine. You got to get the undersides of these too. Definitely have to get the undersides. But all of this cake up is hard water stains and probably nutrients as well, because I got it from a garden center. Yeah, this stuff is just caked on really hardcore. I would never scrub a leaf like this with anything other than a microfiber cloth, and never ever ever very hard. Like, I'm barely pressing. I'm just kind of like using this to kind of go back and forth. I'm not going crazy with it. Like, I'm just kind of just barely doing this with it. I'm not going nuts with it. Guess I should bring this better into view while I'm doing this. Sorry about that. But we have many more leaves to go, so just spraying this stuff on here. And I go around, this one will probably chop off, so I'm not going to bother with that. I go around and I wipe the leaves off. Every single one of them. Very thoroughly. It's also checking for pests and checking for disease and things like that. And also there's a lot of beauty on the leaf itself underneath all that gunk. Really hard to see. I'll get this next top one right here so you can see better. I'm doing all the bottom ones first for some reason while I'm explaining. Terrible. Let's get this one just so you can actually see what I'm doing. It's my puppy in the background there. She's sleeping. She makes groaning noises. She doesn't like to be bothered. Her beauty rests. I'll go over these several times. You can see it looks way better. You can see the leaves down here. They just look absolute gunk up and caked up crap. But after you get all that crap off, it doesn't look bad. And this was a clearance rack plant. Probably because it, it's partially reverted. But that's no big deal. We'll feel it out and see what happens. Because it looks like it's coming back. That's why I got this plant. It has an active growth point. A lot of this was green. It looks green. It looks really, really green. But when you wipe this stuff off and kind of give it a closer look, I'll bring it closer to the camera in a minute so you can see. There is stuff there. There's variegation there. And that's just all Birkin is, it's just this streaky variegation. Yeah, like this one's just beautiful. It was clearance rack. Now I'm going to do some of the underleaves, so you're not going to really see a whole lot of it, but I'm going to try and bring it into the camera as much as possible so you can. But you don't want to press too hard. You just use the meat of your hand, I guess, or the meat of your fingers, or sometimes you can use your palm right here. It works really well for larger leaves. Lightly press and wipe in one direction. Back and forth scrubbing will scrub the surface layer off, and you never really want that. Essentially what thrips do. See, look, that was a mostly green leaf, but after I got all the gunk off of it, see if you can see, it looks really beautiful. It's great. I'm pretty sure that's what all these leaves are going to be showing me. A little bit of good in all of them. Spray on so much fertilizer and hard water, cover up all the beauty, and then they think it's bad. But no, Birkins revert a lot, and that's probably why this one was on the clearance rack. They just thought it was reverted and it wasn't going to sputter. It wasn't going to give much more than what it's giving right now. But it looks like it's coming back to me. That is wishful thinking. That is really just caked on there. I really don't want to scrub. I just lightly pressing it and keep pressing it in one direction. Sometimes you're not going to be able to get it all off without damaging the leaf. You can try this too. Like you can do something like this. You can sit there and just keep spraying it. You can see that. Yeah. You can just keep spraying it and hopefully it'll come off. And sometimes that does work if it's water soluble, easily water soluble. But it doesn't work all the time. It's also a huge waste of water. I mean, I'll eventually use it. I'll use it for my plants and everything because it's not really, it's just runoff. And my plants aren't divas. My plants get whatever. I have a couple diva plants. I do have to admit, there's a couple plants that I have that are divas. I definitely have a diva coming in the mail. That should be here this week. But my diva plants right now, I have a couple strawberry shakes that are getting a lot of my attention right now. And I'm also trying to sell a couple of them. Almost done with this one. I'll just maybe like a leaf or two more. Yeah, one more leaf. I must confess, I've never owned a Birkin, and they've always just kind of looked nice to me, but they were so common that I just, I'll find it another time. And until I saw one that kind of spoke to me, I wasn't really hard up to buy one. This one didn't really speak to me. It was more like a challenge. And I love buying challenges off of the clearance rack. Who doesn't? This dragon scale alocasia is going to be the challenge. I've never grown or tried to salvage an alocasia before, and it's going to be interesting. I had a couple that were, man, this one's still just not feeling it. I had a couple that were declining for a little bit, but they pulled through, and I really wouldn't call that a recovery. Like I didn't salvage that plant. I didn't save it from anything. It just, it had a little issue with being moved from one side of the room to the other. There's drafts and stuff like that, so things happen. I think there's a few of these leaves on the bottom. I'm just gonna gonna cut right off. Yeah, that is not a bad plant for a clearance rack plant. I mean, that was a $5 plant. $5 Birkin. Not bad. Oh, let me knock all the dirt off here. Just give me 1 second here. This is how I loosen up everything, is walk it in circles through your hands while it's still in the pot. And let me knock the dirt off of it. Right. Sorry, very loud. Hopefully I'll be editing this whole section out, so you guys aren't just looking at a blank screen and I'm just sitting here banging on roots off camera. Maybe I'll leave it in. Just for bloopers. Okay. So the roots aren't bad. Nice and bright. I mean, the plant's definitely seen cleaner days. That's okay. Just checking everything out here. Making sure there's no pests. Yeah, you're gone, dude. Where's the next one going? Maybe that one will go. How pretty that little one is, though. I like it. Alright. Is that a corm? There isn't corm. These don't make corms. What am I talking about? It's just roots that fell off. Thought I hit the jackpot. I'm like, yay, corm! These don't make corms. I don't think they do. Okay, what are we putting this in? Let's put it in, yeah, let's do this. This is a 6-inch pot. 6-inch by 4-inch. So, about like this. That's a good look, right? Yep. And as I'm just realizing it, the soil's on the other side of the room, so just 1 second. Following me with the microphone, so that's pretty funny. And we're back. This soil is my own mix. I make it just for me. There's still so much gunk on this that didn't come off. I'll get it another time. I got the majority of it. I don't want to put it through too much stress. I'm trying to help this thing. I'm trying to kill it. The soil that I use is pretty chunky, and it drains really well. The problem with that is that they get no support, so you kind of have to build up the chunks around it to kind of support the plant up until it builds its own root system within this soil that you just potted it into. But you don't want to tamp it down too hard, because that takes away all of the drainability of it. That's even a word. That right there's a good looking one. We'll get her watered up in a second. We're going to do this dragon scale alocasia corm because this is going to be interesting. I'm not really sure. There's so many different nodes on this that if I were if I tried really hard, I could probably get like 5 or 6 out of here with a scalpel, but it scares me. I mean, look at it. There's all kinds of just little growth points and stuff like that on it. Oh, by the way, check this out. This is just a direct challenge to me. I crossed out the name. You can probably see the name through the marker. I apologize, but I tried to cross out the name of the garden center. $46 they were selling this for, and they had it on clearance for $4. That is a direct challenge to me to try and get this thing up and running. And they're not worth $46, but garden centers mark stuff up. That's understandable. But you give me like 6 months, 8 months, this will be a good looking dragon scale alocasia. Maybe I'll post update videos. Maybe I'll do that. Get you off camera for a little bit. Let this star stub get in here. Stub with a B. And B as in boy. Alright, let me get the dirt off of here. I have no idea what these roots look like because I'm not really familiar with dragon scale alocasia. I am familiar with alocasia in general, but I've never done anything with dragon scale, so this should be interesting. Oh, the roots look good. Or the roots look good. You can see it was in some form of peat pellet. Hey, look, corms. That is a teeny, tiny corm. Look how cute. Oh, it's a little baby corm. Teeny weeny. I brought this up here to kind of dig through the rest of it because up tight into the root ball is where a lot of the corms are. And the corms are basically new plants. You just plant those, and if they are successful, they will be new whole plants, kind of like a clone of the mother plant that they fell off of. Oh, falafel. That little guy's off to the side. I really hope I don't lose him. Let's put him in a cup. Put him in the water cup. Yeah, that was good. I think there's another one right here on the underside. Teeny, tiny little things. I don't even know if those are viable. We're going to find out. Is that one? Or is that just a root? Yeah, there's one. This little guy right here. They're probably very immature. Who knows? Another one? No. Sometimes you'll just feel them and you won't see them. Makes it pretty difficult. Another one. I'm not going to pull that. I'm not going to pull these off of the main stem because these could be just roots trying to form, and I'm sitting here trying to pull corms. Okay, so the majority of the dirt out here. I am probably going to put this in sphagnum moss. It's rooting really well, but I don't think it's going to take to my chunky, dry, well-draining soil directly from this dense peat. Like he was getting tons and tons and tons of water, and it's probably why everything rotted away down to a little nub. But I'm going to use sphagnum moss, damp, not wet sphagnum moss. We're going to see what happens. I'm going to put them in something tall like this. It'll be sitting there right about here. Yeah, that's a good size. But I'll have them in sphagnum moss. So let's get these roots wrapped up. I mix the sphagnum moss with, I mix into the sphagnum moss perlite. Just a little bit, just to make it chunky. This is just my own little method of doing this. Don't bury the crown. You have to have the crown sticking out just a little bit. Like this. A little bit in the bottom. Right, like that. And I'm going to finish it with the rest of this. It's sitting a little tall in there, but that'll be fine. There's a lot of roots. I love this little spray bottle because it's so easy to control the stream and the amount of water going down in there. So instead of just going glug, 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 and it's, you know, falling out of the bottom, you can kind of have a metered spray and it gradually goes down. And I'm sure you can achieve that with all kinds of different things, but I just started using this and it's amazing. Truly amazing. All right. So yeah, that's it. Those are my 2 buys. I'll give you some updates, let you know how they're doing. But I appreciate you hanging out. Thanks a lot.